What's up, guys? Devil Dog Gamer here, and we're back talking about some Delta Force. This time we're talking about the operations, the extraction shooter mode of Delta Force, which is its own separate thing from the battlefield mode. Now, I do want to apologize in advance if I sound a little loopy. I jacked up my knee again, and I'm on painkillers. I can hardly walk, so we just got to keep rolling with the punches, and the punches always seem to land on me. So we're going to get into this, but it may sound a little funky with the voiceover. Now, Delta Force is a game that is double dipping quite a bit. They've taken on Battlefield with their Warfare mode, and now their Operations is a take on the Call of Duty DMZ. I see a lot of people comparing it to your Tarkov extraction mode, but it is a mix of Tarkov, but it is mainly focused around Call of Duty DMZ and building a mode similar to that, which I have zero problems with. Call of Duty DMZ was probably the best thing Call of Duty's done in a long time, and the fact that it's dead is absolutely shocking. But the cool thing about this, and the thing that kind of does suck a little bit, is Tencent already has an extraction shooter with Arena Breakout, and you'll see a lot of similarities between items, inventory, the way things work between Operations and Delta Force and Arena Breakout, because they share the same parent company. Therefore, they're reusing a lot of things, and you definitely, if you play both, you kind of see it. The mode itself has a lot of things to do. You have multiple maps, you have multiple different difficulty modes. There are mandel bricks things where you actually have to go in and get the mandel brick, which are just like item cases where you can open skins, extract with them. There's bosses that'll sometimes spawn. Guys. There is a ton of different loot. It has a lot to keep you busy. One of the greatest things about it is that it's easy. This is an approachable extraction shooter for anyone. There is no real gear fear. You get when you die, you'll actually get like a slip where you can buy a full-fledged loadout. You don't have to do anything. You just provide the slip, you get yourself a loadout, and it goes varying from different levels to where you can get top-tier items for this little exchange rate that you kind of have with things. You don't have to spend any of your money that you have in game. You just get these kits and you're ready to rock and roll. There really is a lack of gear fear. I think that's one of the great things about it, and the kind of terrible things about it. I have less time to play than I've ever had. Now that I'm actually working in the industry, I don't have 8 hours a day to spend on a game. So now I feel like an actual working class dad trying to play some of these games. It feels like an approachable extraction shooter for people who don't have a lot of time. You don't need to invest 8+ hours into this. You don't need to spend your life on this game to get anywhere, because it'll always give you ways to get items. It'll always give you ways to get into groups to get there, and you don't feel like you're constantly going broke. Not only that, but when you get into these matches, there's tons of in-game missions you can do for good money and good items. There's tons of areas to loot. You can go an entire match without seeing another group. It's completely possible, and the maps get bigger as you progress from Zero Dam on your way up. So you can actually kind of sneak through, just get loot, grab stuff, get items, get out. The one issue I do have is there are tons and tons of items to loot, to the point where your stash does get kind of full. You can increase that stash limit by doing the R&D and kind of getting some items and boosting it up, and that's not a problem, but you'd quickly become kind of oversaturated with items you have to hold on to for either trades, upgrades, or getting different items. Now, when it comes to ammo, when you're high value ammo, you actually have to do them for trades. You can use the auction house and actually get some of these high value ammos, like your M855 and things like that, but at the same time, you have to hold like multiple different items to get like 60 rounds, which is kind of annoying. Operation shares the same weapons, the same customization, and the same almost time to kill, I feel. There are different types of armor, but at the same time, you're not dumping a full mag into somebody without them going down. From what I've seen, at least, even using like blue ammo like M855, people usually go down if you dump a mag into them. You're not sitting there running around just dumping multiple mags into people hoping for the best. It is a competitive time to kill, and with teams of 3, you usually kind of run into some fun moments where, you'll down half the team and then you're chasing around the last guy. This in itself, though, does create a problem, is that once you down people and even you drop them, they can still be revived. So you kind of have to chase that third guy down or whoever's out left on the team to try to stop them from reviving everyone else. It can cause this rotational problem to where you're suddenly having to I dropped 2 guys, but now I had to drop them again, because they're being revived back a bit. So it kind of takes away from the additional, feel of an extraction shooter and kind of goes with that health system that you would get with DMZ. My one complaint though is that, you know, you have your easy hard modes where it kind of sets the cap for how much gear you can get in, but I've been in easy modes and I've been having people use ridiculous armor piercing ammo to absolutely drop people. And it almost seems like they tried to set a way to where they could separate people into different categories to where the people can actually play and they can enjoy themselves and, you know, not have crazy people running around with epic purple gear and stuff like that. But at the same time, it seems there's a melding of the two almost, because I've been able to bring in some high value gear into an easy mode and be able to absolutely wreck people. No problem, because their gear can't compete with the ammo I'm bringing in. But, you know, and same running into those kind of teams that are diamond ranked or crazy high ranked in the ranked mode, and they've worked their way into the smaller ones. It seems like there's some fine tuning that needs to happen, but I think overall it's rare enough that it doesn't happen too much. And with, you know, being able to get free gear and, you know, sometimes just not having any problems and getting the money that you get, the deaths don't feel as salty as something like Tarkov. There are a large number of tasks that you can do in this mode to actually get yourself gear, unlock things. There's weapon builds that you have to do. It feels a lot reminiscent of Tarkov in that sense. There is a large amount of gear, a large amount of items you have to hold, which does pose a task of, like, you're picking up trash majority of the time. And, you know, sometimes you go to high value item and you're like, ooh, I need this though to complete this. And there's just a lot of things you have to carry and a lot of things you need to worry about. I do like the variety that you get in the maps. I do like the tasks that you get. I like the way they're handling items and your loadouts, where it doesn't feel like you're just constantly being screwed over and you're just having more than you absolutely need. You just have to sell stuff because eventually you just kind of have too much stuff. So it almost feels like an approachable shooter. Now, when it comes to the modes, there really is only a 3-man mode. And there is no solo mode, there's no duos or anything like that. And I do feel like that's something that's missing, because majority of the time my friends are not available to play when I'm playing. And I don't like playing with randoms sometimes, because I've had a few times where I've been down and the randoms have just left the fight. They're like, I'm not fighting, and they just leave you there to die. I would rather be able to duo with someone. I would rather be able to play solo and play sneaky and do ways like that. But at the same time, there is no option for it. So I'm only stuck with doing, you know, the trios and working with randoms. Overall, though, if I feel like you're a person who didn't like Tarkov because it was too time consuming and too punishing, and you're somebody who enjoyed kind of DMZ, but you wanted a little more of an extraction shooter twist to it, I feel like you're probably going to love the operations in Delta Force. There is balancing issues, sure. There are many things to do, but it doesn't feel as punishing. It's still early, and I'm sure there's metas and there's ways people are going to learn to abuse different things. But I feel that the operations mode is a good balance to it. Can it be exploited with monetary concerns? Absolutely. Your safe containers need to be, you know, something that you can buy or subscribe to, which is apparent with ABI, and it's the same over here. But it doesn't feel as punishing, and you can totally get by without it. This is something that, you know, this mode is really good. If they continue to build upon it and they continue to work with it, this could be something that sticks around for a lot longer than the Warfare mode, 110%. But it's how they build upon it, how they try to monetize it. Because this is Tencent. Remember, this is Tencent. This could go many different ways. Arena Breakout, everyone thought was going to be a hit, and it's kind of stagnant right now. This could absolutely do the same thing. So it's interesting to see it'll be interesting to see where it'll move on to and how it will grow. But it is an interesting twist on DMZ with a little bit of sprinkle of Tarkov. And I think it's something you should definitely try with your friends, especially since it's free to play. Give it a shot if you already have Delta Force and you were kind of on the fence about it. But I want to know what you guys think about the operations. Do you think this is a cool little extraction mode? What do you think differently about this? Where do you think it's different? And do you think it's something that you're going to continue to play? All right, boys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.